Welcome back to Project Zomboid. Welcome back to the start of a brand new series. So, the last series was a little bit more roleplay oriented, a little bit, and also had a kind of clear-cut goal, even though we didn't quite achieve it. This one is going to be a little bit more open-ended, see how long we can survive, and a little bit more challenging setting oriented. Let's put it that way. But I'm gonna go ahead, get ahead of myself here. So at the start here, I'm gonna do the usual. What I like to do is give you an overview of the mods, the settings, and the character build and all of that. And if you're not interested in that and want to skip right to the gameplay, you probably have to skip forward like 10 minutes or so, because that's gonna take a second here. Talking about mods, I'm going to show you my mod list. Enable it to only the enabled mods. And just to say it right out loud, I will not be creating a Steam collection for this. Steam collections are incredibly cumbersome and notorious to create unless you either have only a small handful of mods or you're using all the mods that you actually subscribe to. If you're in a situation like me where you subscribe to like 600 mods, but for this run you're only using 250 of them or something like that, then seeing a list of all your mods and filtering those out that you're currently using in the game is basically impossible. So that's why I'm not going to be creating a collection. I will scroll down the list here while I'm talking. So you can, I don't know, take a screenshot if you want to have exactly all the mods that I'm using and can kind of find them on the workshop and subscribe to them that way. So in this, hang on, I feel like the menu music is tad too loud. Well prepared here. Oh, okay. Alright, I'm just gonna do without music for 2 seconds here. So this run basically combines a couple of other runs that I've really enjoyed from the past and kind of takes ideas from those. The first one was the You Only Loot One series where we kind of build a huge base in the middle of nowhere out of nothing. So that's kind of one of the ideas of this run. So we're not going to move into any building, into any pre-built base. We're going to build our own stuff. The second series was the 0 to Hero run. Yes, we're going to do a character start with 0 strength, 0 fitness, and see that we can survive long enough and level up our skills and basically become a hero from this 0 start. Now, I'm just going to put it right out now. It's not going to be the so-called true 0 to hero, where you start with 0 in all abilities and skills. No, we're just going 0 strength, 0 fitness, but going to have a bunch of skills for various bonuses to various skills. And the third one is an idea I used in a live stream series, the Wilderness Challenge, which basically had a simple rule. For the first 100 days, the character cannot loot any building. He can actually not enter any building, unless something they built themselves. After that, for every building looted, you will have to basically pay with 100 zombie kills. So for every 100 zombies you kill, you can choose one building that you can loot. So you're not going to be, just looting down a whole trailer park with 40 trailers in there, unless you have kills to pay for it. So you gotta be a little bit of pick and choosy on where you're going. So that all being said, let's go into the Sandbox settings quickly. Oh yeah, there's one more thing actually. So the long-term goal outside of these kind of starter settings is, of course, we're building our own base somewhere in the middle, and we also want to go and get a huge car collection. Ideally, every single version, every single car that exists in the game, we want to have one copy of it at the base. I'm gonna have to build a big parking lot. Now, initially, when I was looking at the idea for the run and the wilderness run, I was looking through the map and kind of thinking out what would be a good location. We had our you only loot one space here between the rivers. I was looking, yeah, maybe something here. The lake would be a nice location to build a base. My wilderness run on the Twitch was like here between the Otter Pond lakes. And I was looking, where do we want to start and then run to a suitable location. But I thought, nah, let's go with a random spawn. Anywhere Knox well, let's go Knox County casual, which excludes Louisville, because if we want to go for wilderness start, we probably don't want to start in the big city. Alright. Give that safe game name. And we're going to re-enable the music in a second here. Then starting settings are basically mostly apocalypse settings with a few modifications. We're starting in May, just so we have a little bit more summer ahead of us before it gets into the super cold months. So generally, when we're looking at settings, everything that's white is default apocalypse settings. Everything that's shown up in yellow is stuff that I changed, just so that you can kind of get a feel of what is happening here. Random sprinter amount, we have it at 0, but the plan is also with each helicopter event, we're going to increase that by 1%. We're going to have repeating helicopters. For each helicopter event, the zombies get whirled up a little bit, so we're going to crank that number up over time. Then population. The default population on Apocalypse is 0.65 for the base multiplier and 1.5 for peak. So we're going with 1 start, 2 peak. It's not too crazy, but it's, a little bit higher than default. No respawn, that's what I usually like to play with. And I've increased rally group size from 20 to 30, so we have bigger groups of zombies staying around, higher chance of multiple sprinters in a group. That's surely going to be fun. Looted buildings, I've toned down way from the default 50 to 5, and also reduced the chance of looted building in rural locations. I still don't like that setting at all, and I'm actually always close to turning it off completely. But we'll just leave it at this. This is also my first run, well, technically second run, starting with the new default loot rarity of 0.6. Previously in build 42, the default is 0.4. So we're going to have a little bit more loot. And I've increased the zombie population loot effect. So areas with a high zombie population will have slightly higher loot. I still haven't really felt this setting at all. I'm still trying around to see what works there. Here, world settings, everything's default except life bulbs have infinite lifespan, because changing out life bulbs just, I still couldn't find a setting that I really liked, so I'm just gonna go with infinite. I don't think that's a huge thing. And also, especially with YouTube, I want you guys be able to see something what's happening. Basements slightly higher than default, because basements are fun. And by default, you can only have 8 hours of fuel in any fireplace, campfire, wood stove, etc. And I think that's kind of silly. 8 hours is laughably low, and so that's cranked up to 24. Bright darkness during night, also mostly for YouTube, so you can actually see something. Erosion, basically disabled, because don't like trees growing on every lawn patch after a month. That always felt wrong. Farming speed, double the normal rate. Still trying around with this. So this time around, we're gonna have growing seasons and double the normal farming speed. I think in the Louisville series we had 4 times farming speed, and that felt way too fast without seasons then also, and so keeping the seasons enabled, so you have to look on the packages which month to plant stuff, but then not having crops that need 240 days to grow felt like kind of the right approach. Right, meta, sometimes helicopter. So it's going to repeat every 10 to 12 days or so. Increased randomized buildings, road stories, zone stories. Only 5 days for corpse removal as opposed to usual 9 days. And maggots only in bodies, not on the floor around, because otherwise that screws up with foraging. Character, I think everything should be default. No XP multipliers. Vehicle spawn rate normally is low. We have set it to normal since we want to have tons of cars. Livestock, everything normal. And as for the mods, I think that's everything is normal except I did disable this time around the card drops for Tiki Town, because we've done that in the past, the whole find the card collection. I think they're a little bit too common in the loot, and I just want to turn it off this time. We also have a bunch of map mods. I just went through the workshop and looked at various map mods and just got everything. Lots of things that I've never played with. So lots of new areas to explore. And then once again, we're going to play with the simple overhaul traits and occupations mod. More on that in a second when we get to character creation. And I've enabled here that you can earn certain traits, crafting and survivalist related, after a certain actions, certain stuff. So everything else is by default. I don't know the exact details here, but we'll figure it out. All right. Character. So traits and occupations mod adds a bunch of new professions, occupations here, a bunch of additional traits, especially like mini traits for almost all skills. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do, like play around with it if you like it. Definitely something to see, and I have a pre-made character somewhere here. What did I? Yeah, that's this one, which is a gas station operator, so starting with maintenance, mechanics, and nimble. And experienced refueler is an ability that gives you faster inventory transfer of items and faster refueling of the vehicles. And that stacks with dexterous, the inventory item transfer, so 60% inventory transfer speed with dexterous, which we of course take. Couple negatives, of course, puny, unfit, and slack to get -5 to strength and fitness. So we start with 0, 0. And then a whole bunch of skills here that we start with +1. And I was just thinking before starting this, after thinking about this whole thing again, that I actually kind of want to start with 1 point in carpentry. So let me just see. I think we did trapper. And see what we have here for +1 carpentry. Let's even something like that. Woodwork. All right. And then my usual approach is 5 times randomizing, and then we'll see what we get. Apple, yeah. Let's see where our story takes us. Well, as it turns out, there was a rogue mod in that mod list, which was making my game hard crash to desktop on launch. So after, roughly 6 hours of troubleshooting, I finally found that it was the open ammo boxes while moving mod. So, and after yeeting that from the mod list, now it's loading up. So, sorry about that weird cut there. And guess we're going in. Also, that also means I had to re-randomize the character again. So now we have, welcome to testing, This is dark here. We have our new intrepid adventurer, Wilder Dodge. Everything else is the same. Man, that's pretty dark for the starting time. Okay, we are in some sort of bar. Now, the rules for this run, you know, were, as I said, we can't enter and or loot any building for the first 100 days. So what Wilder has to do is get out of Dodge, okay, and get out. Ooh. Now, it just said no looting. The Starlight Shutter. I have a shooter even. I have no idea where we are. Now we're just talking about not being able for you to loot buildings. We have no rule against looting or driving cars. So if we get so lucky that we find a key here and have a car with gas inside, that would be totally okay. Just discard all that. Don't think I see a key here anywhere. Oh, what's that? What's that? Oh, we are in Valley Station. We walked past this on our long walk from Louisville. Probably walked more on that river there. Keep in mind, 0 to hero, no strength, no fitness. So fighting those zombies there, fighting more than one zombie without a weapon, it's gonna be a bit of an ask. But man, can get into any of these cars. So I'm kind of looking around for potential keys here on the ground. I'm not seeing any. Let me double check. Maybe that's like a little bar or a wrench or anything in the cars that we can use as a weapon. No. Rebranch out here at least. Don't see any. Alright, so I should really. There was a bunch of useful stuff in that car that I was just disregarding. Like there was a carry bag. Yeah, this zombie is getting a little bit close for comfort. Maybe we can kill him quietly. Yeah, that's that tote bag secondary. We probably wanna ditch the heavy pistols and stuff. We have all the extra plastic bags. Makes this much easier to look through all the containers here. Sure, let's take that. I should really get going out of the populated area and try to find a place where we can, you know, settle down, since we're gonna have to be sleeping outside. But there's a chance that we might get a vehicle, and I can't let that chance pass. Wretched Ranch. Ooh, the trauma bag. Okay, backpack. Wonderful. Tote bag already outdated. Now, Don't need that. No keys. David the gnome. That baseball bat? Yes. Okay. All right. Now it's getting a little bit uncomfortable. Oh, hiking backpack. Okay, this is getting out of hand, and we need to keep going. I'm just gonna throw some stuff on the ground here. So unlike the last run, we don't have runners here, right? So in this case, I can actually just walk away from the zombies. Not worrying too much about anything. Okay, so we got a weapon, we got a light, we don't have anything to store water in. We get this zombie alone from away from the others? Because he also has a hiking backpack. Turns out if you're in a hiking area, you find zombies with hiking backpacks. He has a sleeping bag. One of the big problems of not being able to go into any houses out front. One of the big problems of not being able to go into any houses, you can't sleep voluntarily. You need to wait to be completely tired, ridiculously tired, I think it's called. Then you can sleep anywhere on the ground. Having a backpack with a frickin' sleeping bag solves a lot of those problems. Okay, what else? Okay, let's get rid of some of the stuff here, since no zombie is actively chasing me. We don't need free searcher needles. I want to keep one. Do we need any tweezers? Maybe. Antidepressants. We have 0 to hero, right? We have 6 carry capacity. I can't be carrying a whole bunch of stuff. Now, funny enough, this time I don't think I picked disorganized. But I also don't think I picked organized. I don't think we had points for that. I'm actually not 100% sure. Already forgot about my perks, since I spent like 6 hours hunting down mods that were breaking the game. No, we actually organized. This is gonna feel so weird. Crashed cars down here. Like, yeah, duct tape, super useful. No, we're not gonna carry around every single thing that we might eventually need. With 6 carry capacity. Now this is gonna feel, at least to me, it all feels like a repeat of last run, because we're walking the same way. I want to get away from Louisville, and we kind of want to have a place near a river to set up. So one of the issues right now is that we don't have a drinking bottle. The other issue is we do not have a sink, right? Sinks are generally indoors. We're not allowed indoors. So we can't actually fill up a water bottle even if we had one. So at the moment, our only means of hydration is drinking directly from the water source, from the river, from the lake. Maybe we come across some farming area with like an outdoor well or something. That would be the lifesaver. But we don't have that right now. Oh, and this time around, I'm not a fitness 10 athletic. I'm not going to be running the whole time down the road. We're just going to be walking. Got a sleeping bag. I almost want to say we know the area. We know it's kind of safe here later on. A little bit fewer zombies. Although, keep in mind, as of what 42.11, 42.10, the zombie population has a random factor in it. So you're not going to have the same zombie distribution in every single game that you play. Right. So like my finger is hovering over the shift key to run, just to get down here a little bit faster, but I know that we're going to be out of breath in no time. Getting so excited about seeing those cars there though. Right outside the starting spot. But yeah, no looting inside. Maybe the key for that Samara would have been in the bar that we spawned in. That's the kind of luck I sometimes get, but we're not allowed to. I guess I could have stayed around and killed 100 zombies, eh? Although no, we also have the rule of 100 days no inside looting. So we gotta survive 100 days first before we can cash in our kills. Alright. Take a sip. Now, it says unsafe for consumption, but as long as you're just directly drinking, it's fine. If you put that water in a bottle, you're gonna die drinking from it. Just Zomboid logic. And also that kind of mechanic changed a little bit between patches and 42 points, well, in build 42 in general. So there were actually patches where this would have killed you. But in the current patch, I think it's fine. I actually haven't tested it. That would make this a very unviable and very quick run. So, I don't think any of the two whole zombies we killed had a watch. I'm kind of wondering now if I want to just keep walking or if we just start our wilderness survival here in the wilderness, at least for the first week. So here's the problem. Now I don't have the whole map revealed this time around, but we know that this is Valley Station. Well, this is like where the Ruby gas station is, and we know this way we have the mall, one of the highest zombie population areas in the game, even with random distribution, right? It's always gonna be super crowded over there. So once the helicopter comes, we can't stay here. This would pull zombies in from the mall area. So that's not going to be good. Okay, one other thing we should start doing is just, if we're walking around, start foraging. Foraging is, and even though it hurts a little bit to discard clay, because we're going to need a lot of clay over time, foraging is going to be our one and only food supply. Until we get settled somewhere where we can set up some troughing or do some fishing. Thankfully, I think comfrey is just medical. Oh, there's already 4 actually now. What's the unknown item? And dog bane. useful to make some rope out of it. I'm just gonna keep it. We're gonna pick up some stuff. Gotta be wary of not getting over encumbered. So I think the area down there near the bridge is relatively zombie free for now. So that's kind of where I'm thinking we might stay for the night at least. These actually good berries? No, poisonous berries. And I need wilderness knowledge for a run like this, so you know which berries are good, which ones are not. I guess I could pick up the clay and just throw it on the ground here, but we'll have plenty of clay, I think. Now that you can find clay near the river, just pick it up from the ground. Should have no problem. Also, foraging is insanely fast to level if you have any starting skill in it, and get the XP multiplier. Like this is... Like, just look at all this. Oh, that was ginseng. Okay, we got some good mushrooms. Foraging does tire you out a little bit though. So anyway, what I was trying to say before I so rudely interrupted myself is I have this kind of as an idea of where we could be spending our first night, and I just wanted to poke up this road. I think there's like the little racing track, which we could use for some maybe outdoor looting. Maybe if we find a vehicle, this completely changes the run. Then I'm gonna probably just drive to one of the locations I had initially in mind, instead of being stuck where the random spawner put me. The other thing here, which kind of throws me off here, the fact that we found a sleeping bag and have an option to sleep, right? As I mentioned, normally, if you don't have a bed, you can't just sleep on the ground, only if you're ridiculously tired. It's gonna throw over your whole sleeping rhythm at the start. And one thing you can do is build a lean-to shelter. Like in my last wilderness run, that was the first thing I built. You know, gather 20 tree branches, 4 stones, couple logs, long stakes, so you need sapling. So that was like 3 days of foraging, and I could finally build a lean-to shelter so I can right-click sleep and actually be awake when I wanted to, and not just when the game thought it was nice. But now we have a sleeping bag. We can actually sleep at night. Look at that. That is some luxury that I didn't think I would be seeing here. At least not on day one. But we should have also totally left the sleeping bag back at the place where I intend to go for the night, because this is just 3 kilo of weight that we shouldn't be carrying with us here. The other thing I'm kind of hoping to find here is maybe a couple isolated zombies. That's nice. Bone. 132 XP. This is wild. Yeah, because we're doing a wilderness run. Yeah, we're almost at foraging level 4. I'm guessing these two things will probably do the trick. Alright. There is a couple more zombies that I'm with. Oh god. Where was the shot coming from? I don't like the direction these guys are going. That's towards where I intend to sleep. I mean, usually these kind of meta sound events will only move them for a short while. They forget that there was a shot like in a minute or two. I don't think they're gonna run all the way to the river. So yeah, if I can kill a zombie or two, maybe get a watch, that would help us tremendously. There's a trailer park here now. He still carry that? He's not over encumbered yet. Revenge? Another animal bone. Drop on the ground. That foraging though. I'm probably very close to getting out of breath again here from all that foraging. Picking stuff up off the ground is, you know, tiring work. I want to be. Let's get out of foraging mode. Get a better idea for how bright it still actually is. So I don't think we have that late in the day just yet. Maybe like sneak one, maybe two zombies off the fence line here. Preferably somebody who has a watch. He can't really make out with that guy. Who's stuck at the corner, but outside? Or no, it's the inside. I don't know. Oh no. We are playing with thumping with friends again. So him making sound there is for me a sign to get out of dodge. That one has something on their hand. Ah, ravaged kidney. Yeah, no, thanks. What I will do though is I'm gonna just throw clothes on the ground so that later on we might come back and shred some zombie clothing because we're gonna need a bunch of rags. Okay. I mean, a screwdriver is nice, but I don't see a watch on the arm. Now, there's no guarantee that we actually come around and picking all of that stuff up. I just, you know, just preparing for future me. Future me is going to be very grateful for that. Okay. Eat a bunch more of that kind of stuff. It's all one hunger. Some of the mushrooms are a little bit better. This is not a good sign that we get over encumbered. If we get a mushroom from our backpack. Right. Any watch enjoyers? That guy has a watch on his left arm. Guy is faster though. Try to separate them a little bit. Keep in mind. 0 strength, 0 fitness. You gotta take it slow. The baseball bat certainly helps though. Alright. Watch. Keep your clothes for later. Barely midday. Broken. Yeah, we'll keep that. So the reason why I'm putting the jewelry on the side is smelting in jewelry is actually one of the ways you can, for early blacksmithing leveling, if we want to go into that, which we might have to, right? Since we're kind of limited on what we can loot. But first things first, I think I want to get back to the river. We take another sip of water and clear out any zombies that actually ran all the way down here. What? These are actually stuff. I was about to make camp here anyway. Alright. So first things first, I want to. First of all, let's research craft here on the sleeping bag. Then I'm gonna get very concerned about that zombie being here. Somebody said this place was safe. There's another zombie further down the river. This might have all been the guys that were hearing the gunshot earlier, walking all the way over here. Didn't even consider that zombies from the other side, from the mall area, could be wandering this way. You know what? I don't want to be near this. There's too many random zombies here. We're just gonna keep walking south a little bit more. There should be another bridge eventually. So we're gonna delay our camp setting just a little bit. Right. Thirsty again. I think that this. Oh god. Actually, I think I might be misremembering. Yeah, I think the road stays on that side of the river. That's a problem. We thought we crossed the river at some point. I don't think we did. Or rather, there's a fork in the river coming up. We're now stuck on the north side. Another option, for out-of-house sleeping would be in a car wreck, obviously. That ship sailed. Yep. And that's the fork. Well, I guess this is our place now. Yeah, you know what? Until the first helicopter, this is as good as any. Maybe. Let's unpack that. Place it down. Then anything we don't need to carry on us at all times, we're just gonna chunk here on the ground. Like even all this medical stuff we have from a trauma bag, put that here. Dismantle that watch. Eats, and we're gonna just eat that stuff. Eat the donut. It's the last good food we ever have. For now. And I don't think I need a backup weapon. Okay. Makes us light as a feather. And I'm gonna do some foraging in the immediate area, and also most importantly, pick up a bunch of stones so that we can make a campfire. And actually, I kind of already regret discarding that skull. We should totally get a couple items just to see what we can craft or level with that. And I'm even gonna pick up some insects in case we somehow get materials together to make a fishing rod. First things first, campfire. I think if I click this, then this will not close when I move. They introduced this. Oh yeah, the window now automatically closes when you move, and it's like, okay, nobody asked for that. Nobody wants that. Don't have a direct use for like large stones or large flat stones just yet, but good to know we have a few of those around. Like one thing we might want to look into, I think is it masonry? Like we can do a stone cabinet. Now we need a bucket for that. Chopping block. Okay, alright. Can we make a flint saw? Just learn something randomly just from opening the menu. Gonna need level 3 napping. Cabbage is huge find. Not only because it's a lot of food. 11 hunger is fantastic. But more importantly, that also gave us a cabbage seed. Now, I am playing with planting seasons. I'm not 100% sure yet if I want to, you know, tie one arm behind my back and not look up the planting seasons in the wiki and just rely on my character needs to know this, when to plant stuff, and otherwise I'm just guessing when to plant. And I think I should, you know, we should do that extra challenge. I'm not going to look up what the right season for planting cabbage is. I think we're in May, that might be okay. Is that what I want to use my only seed up for? I don't know. One other thing with this series, there's going to be a lot of stuff like this, right? Where we're just sitting around foraging or grinding, napping or carving or this kind of stuff. And while in this starter episode, I want to have basically an uncut episode mostly, except for the crashing issue at the start there, I'm going to be cutting out a lot of stuff going forward. Where it's like, yeah, I spent 3 days foraging, here are the results. Maybe do like a highlight or something like that. But I think for the first episode, kind of showing off that if you consider doing something like this, you kind of know what you're getting into. But I would definitely strongly suggest start with wilderness knowledge. So you know which berries and mushrooms are poisonous and which ones aren't, and more importantly, to get that foraging XP boost. Just rest here. Still lighting, by the way, I still have the resting prompt, even though we now have the Moodle system that shows you when you're fully rested. I still think I'm gonna keep that mod though. For me, it's easier to see. I don't like having to peek into the top right corner of my screen. Oh, we found some clay on the clay. Who would have guessed? Now we are going to be exposed to the elements. It's going to be a long while until we can actually build any sort of hut, anything with a roof over our heads. So one important thing to notice, we need to make sure we're not getting sick. Because if you get a cold, the only way to cure a cold is to stay indoors. Which, you know, we can't. Not with the rules of the run as they are. At least not until we are able to build our own home. And the big limiting factor for that are going to be nails. More on that as we get deeper into the run here. Okay. 6 in the evening, I think it's about time to start heading back towards base camp. forage a little bit on the way. This is going to be a lot of this early game here. Foraging, like you wake up in the morning, you forage. And at some point, that's going to be over. You enjoy foraging, sure, you can do that more. I enjoy doing a little bit of foraging, but I wouldn't do a run that's just going to be foraging all day, every day, because loot settings are so low that it's not even worth looting anything. You might as well just keep foraging everything. That's not what I enjoy. We found a lot of poisonous berries and mushrooms compared to non-poisonous, which is a little bit sad. Okay, I was hoping we find some more fins. We're gonna get over encumbered here, yeah. That's fine. We're gonna need so many tree branches. One thing at the start is also going to be that a lot of the crafting stuff is going to require you to have a crafting surface. You can use large rocks as a crafting surface. You know, we're actually going to pick that up since we're so close to our little campfire here. Alright, let's drop a whole bunch of stuff. Most importantly, that's twigs. Drop all the insects. Now I didn't think we got a copper flint, right? We only got flint nodules so far. The rest is the fresh stuff that we're gonna eat anyway. Ah, leak makes us unhappy. It's minimal. Alright, I think let's get out of foraging mode so it doesn't look quite as nasty here. What do we need for a stone hammer? We got a tree branch, we need a stone. We can have a piece of rack. We had that zombie clothing. I should probably just rip that first here. Did we not? Oh, it's over here. We can't rip this because that's denim. We should be able to wash the racks. Okay, so it gives us 3 useful racks. Alright, back to the stone hammer. Stone, and we need some sort of knife. So for that we would need a... Oh, yeah, I think we can make a flint flake from the flint nodule if we have a stone. Regular stone. Maybe not. Oh, we're gonna need a surface. Okay. Yeah, well, how did I close my inventory? So surface, as I just said, I think, I'm not sure if this is very large rock, but this rock should definitely work. Let's see. No, this actually works. Wonderful. There's a bunch of maintenance and no napping XP. Also lock this so it doesn't just randomly disappear when I'm moving. We should have everything to make a stone hammer. Unless we also need a surface here for that, probably. So let's grab the tree branches. Really need my grab one available to be clicked here, and the rest we had on ourselves, right? Yeah. Right. What else? We can make a blade. I think we have 3 flints. Yeah, okay. Let's make a blade from that. We can actually cut some stuff up. Might be able actually be enough to cup up that the denim stuff. No, not actually. Don't secondary that. I can't put it on my belt. Okay, that's fine. We should also totally research that craft on the baseball bat before that thing expires. Two flakes for stone chisel. I kind of was wondering if we want to make us a stone axe here. We need one more tree branch. Gonna need one more rack. That's gonna be a problem. Might have to backtrack for the zombies. Or we can cut it up with that sharp flint flake. What are you gonna give me? 4 denim straps. Okay. There's obviously 2 advantages to having an axe. First of all, we can chop down some bushes and or trees, although the axe is not gonna last long if you're cutting down trees. But more importantly, we have 1 skill point in axe. That's our 1 weapon skill we started with. So long term, that's kinda where we want to go to. Large stone axe head. I'm fairly certain that requires masonry 4 or napping 4. So that's a little bit out of the way. But hey, for the first day, we have a sleeping bag. We have tools in forms of a hammer and an axe. We are near a water source, which, given the random spawns, that was not guaranteed that we would spawn near a water source. Let's actually make a separate little stack over here with the useful stuff, right? With the flint flakes, stone blades, drags. We even have a pen light. So as long as we have a little bit of battery, we can have like a very shitty torch to light us the way. Okay. Getting late, but we still have a little bit of daylight-ish left, so might as well. Oh, hurricane lantern? Well, okay. So much for, oh, we have a little bit of light. Oh, we actually have a lot of light. Place here. Unfortunately, you can't light it while it's on the ground, but you can kind of, that's something we can hold in our offense. Really have an offense while we're swinging a baseball bat, do we? One other thing I could do is, instead of foraging, you know what we should do? Let's grab some of these logs and bring them towards the place there. They're really heavy. Okay, what's the research here? But as I said, like with that stone axe that we built, we can maybe, if we're lucky, cut down one tree. Probably not. It's probably gonna break before the tree is gonna break. So picking up logs from the ground, which you can do if you see the logs, like up there, there are two more. It's kind of your best way of getting logs early. All right, for now, I think it's getting too dark for foraging. Sure, let's go up there where the true logs are. We walk lazy here, but not carry lazy. Look at my hands. We are 0 strength, 0 fitness. You still have the max carry capacity of 50, like any other character, so no big deal, right? That's the other thing we could look at. That eventually we want to start doing exercises to get our strength and fitness up. I don't want to do it just yet, because doing that will, of course, give us a whole bunch of muscle strain on the next day. Muscle fatigue, exercise fatigue. And that would be very detrimental with fighting. It's something for once we have something of a base camp going. Where we are sure we can stay in the same place for like 10 days without having to fight any zombies. Although that being said, I'm kind of thinking that, okay, rose hips do not have a freshness, do not go off, so let's just eat fresh stuff here. Rose hips are actually probably one of the best finds we had today. Like most of the fresh stuff you see here is probably going to be already stale tomorrow. So that's why I'm kind of stuffing my face with everything. Also because it barely gives any hunger reduction. We're looking for weight anyway. It's at the moment still going down. So let's keep stuff on our face here. Dandelions. Oh, we're getting a little bit chilly. Wouldn't it been have nice if I hadn't cut up that overall? Yeah. Sleep in the cold. It's gonna be like -8 to our mood on the next day, eh? And you know what? This is all non-perishable. Okay, let's guess it's time for our first night in the wild. Now, I did, if I'm not mistaken, we did pick up Wakeful. I should have gone over the traits a little bit more. So, puny, unfit, thin-skinned, slow healer, thin-blooded, so that is bleeding wounds do more damage to us. Clumsy, the usual, you know, make a little bit more footstep noise. Slow reader, there's not much to read in the wilderness. weak stomach is the set of negative traits we have, and then we have that experienced refueler from our gas station operator traits. We are inventive, so we can research craft recipes faster and also earlier in our levels. We have masonry, pottery, fishing, blacksmithing, basic knowledge, cat's eyes for better night vision, dexterous for faster inventory transfer, outdoorsy, so less prone to elements. So actually sleep in the cold is not going to be super negative unless as long as it's just chilly and not actually cold. Woodworker for carpentry, cutter gives us +1 axe, organized, equipment space. Wakeful. Yes, so we're only going to need like 4 hours of sleep. If we're actually tired, we're not even tired yet. Keen hearing, because I don't want zombies to creep up on me. Fast learner, faster experience gain, which probably plays a big role while we're getting these foraging levels so insanely fast. And then wilderness knowledge for all the knowledge about our berries and mushrooms, and I think it also gives you a bunch of crafting recipes. We might do we get actually fishing rod from that? Can we make a fishing rod? Okay, a wooden rod, wine, and a paper clip. Bone fishing hook. Which we would need carving level 5 for to make a bone fishing hook. Right, that's fine, that's doable. Well, how much light does our pen light actually give you? Holy crap. That's fairly significant. I was considering we could like do some more crafting here, like the hemp that we have. We can turn that into what? Can turn that into twine, I think. Let's just do it this way. Bane. Show craft recipes where this is used in. Craft twine, craft rope, and even with weave buildup. All of this requires light. This requires light and a surface and a cutting tool. Can probably use our stone blades. Not the blade. Would need a proper stone knife. Oh, but we can use a flint flake. That's fine. Yeah, we probably want some twine. Alright, well, let's see how long we're gonna sleep for. Usually wakeful, if you're drowsy, it's like 4 hours of sleep. We're not drowsy yet, because first day always starts you very, very refreshed. Well, let's have a sleep. It's uncomfortable. 3000 foraging XP on day 1. A little bit of long blunt, a little bit of nimble, a little bit of strength. Actually, 400 strength. That is not terrible. Where's my strength? Down here. Oh, halfway to level 1. All right, we're gonna leave it here. Start of the new series. We made it out of the random spawn that the mod threw us into. We had some extremely lucky finds, again, with the backpack and the sleeping bag. 2 runs in a row, can't believe that. And we are now, because I went down the wrong path, on the wrong side of the river of where I wanted to be. But we'll make the best out of it. Probably gonna stay here 3-4 days. And see how it goes. For now, we're gonna put a cut in here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.